This game is not as difficult as your average Souls-like game. While it's harder than your typical action-adventure blockbuster movie, it won't be as painful and slow as other games might be. At least until you reach a boss fight. There are very brutal and punishing bosses in this game. Code Vein can be played together, and this contraption might be the best way to overcome some bosses. Unfortunately, playing cooperatively outside of boss battles can make some of the challenges completely unimportant. Still, it's a fun game and a great entry point into the genre. The various twists of Souls like Nioh are considered by many to be the spiritual successor of Onimusha. The approach of the game is much slower. However, it has a completely unique mechanics. There are many different postures that the main character can use to change his fighting style. Also, timing your strokes, stance defenses, and other commands can instantly record some of your Kai. This makes the fight attractive and fun, but can make it even easier once you master the mechanics. Still, there is nothing wrong with that. And if players are looking for a challenge, they can search for the most difficult Twilight missions. The first Souls-like in the PS4 era was developed by Lords of the Fallen, DECK13 Interactive and Cygames. Unlike Dark Souls and Demon's Souls, it was the first game of the genre to have a hero with a name and background. Still, many players did not like this game, and there is a reason for that. The game featured an interrogative design that was considered by many to be very edgy. The game is also fun, engaging, and not as well thought out as Dark Souls. The Surge's futuristic environment and fragmentation mechanics really made the game unique and fun. The dodge was really powerful, it made the main character jump too far. Some weapons were completely unique, and the game had a powerful look. The game had its own issues, but the Surge 2 improved almost every aspect of the game. These changes made the game easier than before, but considering the first game had some strange challenges, they were all for the best. Original Souls game. Demon's Souls was the first weird punishing game with methodical discoveries made by From Software in a style that created an entire genre after it. It was one of the most admired games on the market, and is still considered one of the best action RPGs ever made. Thanks to the remake, gamers can enjoy this classic with next-gen graphics, but there are some things different from the original. Demon's Souls was one of the tougher and selling points. It was the first game of its age to combine your money and experience in a single currency, and take everything from the player after every death. This eternalized his death and resulted from a series of memes. Thankfully, From Software didn't stop at Demon's Souls. Actually, we have a few great games to follow. The spiritual successor to their previous achievements was called Dark Souls, and was also one of the most criticized action RPGs ever made. Dark Souls was so famous for its game design philosophy and ingenious map structure, that it resulted in 2 more games within the same franchise. Dark Souls 3 may not be the most difficult of Dark Souls, but it is difficult, rewarding, and surprisingly well designed. The first futuristic Souls-like, The Surge, introduced a pleasantly new take on this genre, once thought to be only related to medieval settings. This is the game that applies fragmentation and local damage as an essential part of the combat system. In this game, knowing which part of an enemy to shoot was almost as important as dodging or dodging. Although the game is fun and the environment is very unique, the game suffered from sudden increases in difficulty that were not much fun to deal with. It's always fun and always fair. Or at least that's what Dark Souls fans have to say about the game. This game is considered by many to be almost flawless. It features extremely well-built combat, maps, enemies, and atmosphere. Dark Souls makes players try hard, stand out carefully, and go crazy when they die. But it also provides an incredible sense of accomplishment as they overcome each challenge. The dark fantasy environment adds to the difficulty of the game, and the death and respawn points are invaluable game mechanics. There is only one reason the game is not a legend. And while it's hard, almost every challenge is really fair, and only players need to get used to it and think their way around. At one point, someone had an incredible idea to mix Dark Souls, Gothic architecture, Victorian, and Lovecraft horror. This wacky salads baby is one of the best games ever made. Bloodborne is a horror action RPG game that nobody knows what they want. The game even has an optional dungeon crawl with very challenging levels. Following the same design proposal Dark Souls had, but with faster gameplay, Bloodborne is one of the most memorable games on PS4. Still, it has a great return. The only shield in the game is pretty useless. The game forces players to play aggressively and flee like no other Soul game does. Dark Souls, the least loved by most fans, was not seen as a difficult game for a while. In fact, many players would say Dark Souls 2 was the easiest, until From Software decided to replace the game with patches and downloadable content. This was already a new game when they released the Scholar of the First Sin version. The final version of Dark Souls 2 was harder, unforgiving, and even had unfair challenges and too many enemies. Whether the game is fun now or not is highly controversial. It is definitely the least loved game for most fans, but it is indeed a very difficult game, especially considering the number of bosses who have creatures and awesome DLC bosses to help them in battle. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked the video, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the page.